Saturday journey succeeds when mind says I am free from the daily chores, activities, and the mind does not invite any agenda, either from the past or the future. So means the mind is free from uh, what you say, the cause and effect, or you can say the karma. Karma means action. So that state of the mind succeeds. So when we are doing Mondays and Thursdays session, that is all about, oh, you are engaged in the karma, the mind is wandering. So we add lot of steps to stop the wandering of the mind, to purify the mind, to focus the mind. Now see, the mind is totally free from all the activities, from your personal, professional, and social life. It's a big challenge. Why? We need to do that. Then only the mind is highly receptive for the right knowledge. So Saturday's session is all about understanding. So understanding, can you see understanding? No. It is knowledge. What is that knowledge? It is understanding. So what is that knowledge and understanding? It is a stream of awareness in the mind. It is a stream of awareness in the mind. So it is the highest teaching. It is the highest teaching. So we have to be very clear about it. Second point is the intellect is always says, no, I understand. So I always tell people, you are intelligent? Yes. Did you understand? Yes. Then why you have stress? Normally, more the intelligent people are, more the stress they have. So can you bring them together? I'm very intelligent. No, you see that I'm very intelligent in my business, but when it comes to my personal life, then I suffer. So that does not mean intelligence. You see that? So Saturday's teaching from this text is the highest. Why it is the highest teaching? You don't have to perform any action from the mind. So when you need not to perform any action, it means the mind is totally focused in the field of awareness to bring a wave, a stream of understanding. The moment that understanding takes place in the mind, meditation and mindfulness is an effortless and a natural practice. So here comes the Sara also. So now see, it is one of the most beautiful verses. Those who have missed a simple thing, they can go to the audio. So 10th verse, what we are studying and understanding, it is the second chapter of the Astavakra Gita, where the seeker is narrating his experiences of meditation, what happened to him. Why we are studying? So that we can compare where we are. So it all talks about the wisdom. Matto vinirgatam vishwam mayyev layam eshyati mradi kumbho jale vichihi kanake katakam yatha. One of the most beautiful verse. So now see what he is experiencing. He says, now I am aware that the entire world shines out of me. What is our understanding? I depend on the world. I depend on my honey, and still she or he makes me unhappy. That example I give honey of that to make it understand, you can replace that honey with any object in the world. So what he says, the mato vinirgatam vishwam maye vilayam meshyati, the world shines out of me and dissolves into me only. Like first example, the pot into the clay. Second example, mradi kumbho jale vichihi, the wave into water, and the bangle shape into the gold. What that mean that you have that experience? What it means? I have that experience. Now see the first part. Will you have any element of insecurity in you? The entire world shines out of me. Will you have any insecurity? You see, the pointer is different. That is how they have scribed these texts. There is a complete security. There is a complete happiness. There is a complete love and the wisdom that shines out of you. That is the result of meditation. So let us understand this. All experiences takes place in the mind. We point out understanding takes place where? Inside the mind. Where it is? It is inside me. And where is the real self? It is also inside me. Two things. Mind includes ego, intellect, knowledge. Mind has four functions. So whether you say it is intellect, whether you say the I mind, one, and I real self. Two things. Are you confused about the two? That is why we have a problem. That is why we have a problem. So if once we are clear, it is coming from the real I, not the ego I. Let us take it. Mind, intellect, and ego. Ego I and the real I. Two things. So living with the master, my master, Swami Lakshman Das Ji. So he used to, O mind, be at peace. This will also pass. What will pass? Pleasure will pass. Conflict will pass. Problem will pass. Fear will pass. Don't we have an experience in our life that, whoa, when we had problems in the past, we were worried, depressed, and now they have gone. Now we have to understand why my master used to say this. It took me many years to understand, from here he has brought this phrase, O mind, be at peace, this will also pass. So there are two elements. Both are inside. First is ego I or intellect I. And the second is the real I. Let us understand the difference between the two. Once you understand between the two, you will understand this verse and, do I have that experience? Wow, I have reached to that state. So this intellect I or ego I depends on real I. What is real I? It is pure consciousness. But the real I is self-existent, self-luminous. It is like the sun. And the ego I is like or intellect I is like a ray of light. Intellect I borrows consciousness from the real self. You see, both are inside. That is the first statement we understand. Now, that real I gives the consciousness to the ego, to the mind, and then the mind shines. Where? Then the mind sees the David or Kate or Stephen. That is how this intellect and the mind sees the world outside. There is a whole room and there is a small hole. So I peep into the world outside through my intellect. So I peep, I am limited, I see the part of that knowledge, and the rest is out of sight. Internet is good, women. That much I see, but I don't see the rest is excluded. Do you see? So, third point. The real self is unchanging. Today I am good, tomorrow I'll be bad. Who perceives this? It is intellect. Why the intellect is limited? Or whether you say I, mind, or intellect, whatever you say, it is limited. So whatever is limited, can it have a right understanding or the right knowledge about my life? The answer is no. Again, I'm repeating, real self, inside. Ego I, inside. Ego is constantly changing. Real self is unchanging. Ego depends on the consciousness. Real self is totally independent. Who is better? Now go to the phrase, proverb. My master, you say, "O mind, be at peace." Who is saying this? Real self is saying. Ego, intellect, mind, you have many projects. You have a project of disliking that guy, and that you will deal with after the meditation. Real self is saying, "Oh mind, be at peace." Why you are crazy? Are you getting something? Now I thought better to explain. So I'm giving this interpretation from another text, which is also one of the most interesting texts. And so you see that? Now, oh mind, be at peace. This will also pass. Real self do not understand by the language and communication. It is of the nature of the knowledge. So when I have a thought of liking and disliking, pain and the pleasure, it is a project of the intellect. Real self says, oh mind, be at peace. Both are in you. Both are in you. So real self says, oh mind, be at peace. This will also pass. Real self is beyond intellect, beyond ego, beyond or behind, you can say, behind ego. It is the intellect or the ego or the mind that says you are changing. Why they say you are changing? Because I identify myself with the body, outer conditions. Real self says, oh mind, be at peace. This will also pass. First, we are understanding the principle and then we'll go to this. Why real self says? Real self says to the ego and the mind, come on, why you are searching happiness outside? It is not there. Oh mind, be at peace. This will also pass. Can I start the communication between the real self and the mind 24/7? Forget about stress. Forget about insecurity. This is the beauty of his experience. So now come to this sutra. It says, verse, Matuhu matto vinirgatam vishwam mayyev layam eshyati. Now it says the word shines out of me. How to connect that? The real self perceives the clay only. Intellect perceives the clay pot. Are you getting it? The real self perceives the real self that is only one in all of us. The intellect perceives through a communication in a language, it is limited. So intellect says, here is a Sam, here is a Stephen, here is a Cat, here is a David, here is a Jerry. Are you getting it? Both are there. Both are there. So if the intellect veils the real self, then this intellect perceives, it has a limited perception. It perceives the jewelries, it perceives the ornaments, not the gold. It perceives the clay pot, not the clay. It perceives the waves, not an ocean, but the cause of the wave is an ocean. Cause of the clay pot is the clay. The cause of all the ornaments is the gold. Manu matto vinirgatam vishwam mayyev layam eshyati. The world shines out of me. What is that meaning? Out of me. Here, me is the real self. It is the pure consciousness. It is the sun. So that sun illumines the entire world. Intellect says, forget about it. Ego says, forget. I am better than the people here. I am a good teacher. See? So that is the intellect and the ego. But the real self says, that sun shines everyone. That consciousness shines everyone. Look at the level of understanding and the knowledge that he is revealing. This is his experience. The word shines out of me. How? Mradi kumbho. Like from the clay pot. Look at that experience. Even you think of it. So from today, start communicating with the two I that we have inside us, the real self and the false self, which is ego I or mind I or intellect I. Start communicating inside. Real self says, oh mind, be at peace. This will also pass. Why you are crazy? Why you are lazy in doing meditation? See the point. So there are two entities. So now see, real self shines like the clay in the clay pot. Who sees the clay pot? Ego or mind or intellect. Who sees the waves? The ego, mind. But real self perceives only one consciousness. That is the journey of the self-discovery of yoga and meditation. Now see, for a moment, don't allow the mind, intellect, and ego to recognize your name, shape, gender, form. Don't you still see? Are you not aware still? we are still aware. What is that awareness? It is pure consciousness. Where is the real self? It is here and now. No, I will do a lot of practices. It took you 26 years, so it maybe. So if your ego says, I'm not that competent, now you see that? Your ego comes in between. It creates a limitation. No, I'm not as committed as you. So who knows? It may take 50 years. Ego. Barrier. You are creating a barrier to yourself. No, I have understood. I have reached there. That is another ego. Mind, expression, limitedness. Limitedness. See the another part that is very important between the relationship between the two. The ego I, real I. Real I is conscious. Means what? Consciousness. Means what? That consciousness knows itself and it also knows others. That is the property of a consciousness. Real I, it is a matter. Mind is a matter. Thought is a matter. What is the meaning of the matter? Matter is inert. How do we understand? That inert matter cannot know itself and cannot know others. But because it borrows the consciousness from the mind, it borrows the consciousness from the real self by which it knows. But the real self says, okay, continue. Now communicate. Real self says, oh mind, be at peace. This will also pass. At all time, 24/7. First recognize our real nature and then say, come on, intellect and ego and the mind, let it work in the world. Are you getting it? Mradi kumbho jale vichi kanake katikam yatha mato matto vinirgatam vishwam. Mato vinirgatam vishwam mayyev layameshyati. Now see, when it happens, when the mind is constantly, or ego, or thought, or whatever you say, that false I is constantly agitated. Can you see the real self? No. If there is a cloud, can you see the sun? No. Now remember, on Mondays and Thursdays, you have to purify the mind. There should be a natural focus. The mind should not run after the things of the object in the world. It should not create an attachment and detachment, likes and dislikes. When that mind is transparent, then only it listens to the real self. What the real self says, oh mind, be at peace, this will also pass. Why you are crazy? Why you feel that you are suffering? You feel laziness, it is created by the same mind. Tell me who is lazy? If your mind says you are lazy, let the house be on fire. Then let me see if you are lazy or not. See that. See the understanding. It is the mind that creates that. A limitedness. Limitedness. Look at this mind. You see, the boss is very happy with you. You make him little more happy. Why? You know it. Limitedness. You depend on it. You create your likes and dislikes, attachment and obsession. This is what the real self is saying. Why you create unnecessary attachment, detachment, anxiety, duality, conflict. So real self is constantly communicating to the I. It is saying inside, "Oh mind, be at peace. This will also pass." But we don't listen. Let me settle a score with you first. So I have to hesitate myself first, and then I hesitate others. Real self is saying, "Oh mind, be at peace. This will also pass." Can you start communicating? Both are inside you, here and now. You recognize me as a teacher, very fine ego. Ego is still there. The moment there is a separation, the ego and the mind is working. Drop that separation, the real self comes in the front. It says, "Okay, I'm in peace. Mind, oh mind, be in peace. This will also pass." What a beautiful experience. We talk about meditation. Still those vision of colors and all those stuff may come and go. This is what the real experience in meditation is. Matto vinirgatam vishwam mayyeva layam eshyati mradi kumbho, clay pot in the clay. Mind, be at peace. This will also pass. Jale vichi, waves in the water. Who see the waves? Ego I. Who sees the water? Real self. I'm just making you understand from the teaching of another great master who is Shankaracharya, who teaches in a very famous text for us in this tradition. It is known as Upadesh Sahasri, 1,000 teachings. So from there I brought his explanation. So what happens? I need not to dissolve and break the clay pot to see the clay. Last point. Do you see? I need not to break your body to see the consciousness in you. It is here and now. Do you see that? Can you see that oneness? The real self says, "Oh mind, be at peace. This will also pass." I don't need to melt the gold ornaments to see the gold. It is visible here and now. What is preventing me to see it? It is my ego. It is my mind. Do you see that? It is visible here and now. Last point, and then we will do. My body is moving. How can I meditate? I have a lot of pain. How can I meditate? Oh mind, real self saying, "Oh mind, be at peace." Why you create such limitations? You are already in the state of meditation. You are in the state of meditation 24/7. So by complaining, by being lazy, by being crazy, when you say that meditation is not, I have a lot of challenges in the body and the mind, all these expressions are from this I mind, I intellect, I ego. Why? The real self is already there behind. So I create a barrier and a limitation that causes the problem in our life. So we will study in this text where he comes to a conclusion. Naham tada moksho. Naham, where there is no ego, I-ness, separativeness, limitedness, there is awakening. And where there is ego, there is a bondage, there is a limitation, there is a suffering, there is an insecurity, there is a fear, there is an anxiety, etc. etc. So he is taking us to a deeper and deeper state. Let us start our journey of meditation, going back